City, the Belgian goalkeeper is injured. Everyone is waiting for the tie against Manchester City. The double confrontation against Pep Guardiola's pupils will mark a before and after in Real Madrid's forecasts for this season, which will undoubtedly affect the performance of the merengue dressing room in the league. But they also receive encouragement from the locker room. One of the footballers who will not be able to participate in the quarterfinals is Thibaut Courtois. The Belgian tore the anterior cruciate ligament in his right leg before starting official competitions, opening the way to a debate that has kept Real Madrid fans in suspense during the first half of the season. Finally, there is a winner. His recovery had progressed correctly and he had even returned to training in Valdebebas. But in one of those sessions he had the bad luck to tear the meniscus in his left knee. Although he had decided to have surgery, his 2-month absence ended up ruling him out of this season. Until the end. "Oh, we are fine, I see them fine. You have to trust," reveals the European goalkeeper. "We'll play a good game on Tuesday, hopefully a victory, and I think we can hold on afterwards." Courtois has no doubts and knows that the return they're screwed, but I'm confident. The forecasts for the second leg of the quarterfinals, they are not the best. It all depends on what happens at the Santiago Bernabéu. Because Real Madrid faces the only team that, right now, could overshadow it in the old continent. The City is a tough team and in their stadium it is difficult to beat them. The white goalkeeper does not forget what happened at the Etihad Stadium in the last 2 Champions League semi-finals, totally different matches, but that could serve as a lesson for the coaching staff led by Carlo Ancelotti. Despite recently denouncing Real Madrid for the reports broadcast by the white club's official television, Sevilla now wants to fish at the Bernabéu and they have put all their intentions in Arda Güler. Arda Güler, the barely 19-year-old Turk who surprised with his potential at Fenerbahce, was one of the most high-profile young signings on the football scene in recent years. The fight to obtain the services of the midfielder was very intense, since Real Madrid had to negotiate against the offers that several large European clubs formalized to the Ottoman's entourage, with Barcelona and Milan leading this list. Finally, last summer, Real Madrid acquired Güler after paying around 20 million for him, with a 6-year contract. A figure higher than his termination clause with his former club, but the procedure served to quickly close the operation, with a crushing victory for Real Madrid over its rivals and guaranteeing the sublime talent of a very special player, who in his country already they were compared to Mesut Ozil, who also wore the white shirt between 2010 and 2014. In these circumstances, Güler, who had to deal with a serious injury shortly after his signing for Carlo Ancelotti's team, is becoming a footballer with a lot of follow-up by countless teams, both national and foreign. And, among the first, the interest that the Turk has aroused in a club that, a few weeks ago, denounced Real Madrid for understanding that Real Madrid TV puts pressure on the referees with the reports carried out by the official channel of the Madrid club stands out. Life gives you surprises, life gives you surprises. According to Elmira, the Seville team would be seriously studying the possibility of incorporating Arda, on loan, into the ranks of Quique Sanchez Flores' team next season, although it is true that the Andalusian newspaper points out that the relations between Real Madrid and Sevilla are not going through their best moment. Güler is not the only Real Madrid player that Sevilla is following closely. Next to him is Sergio Arribas, who currently plays for Almeria and owns 50% of the rights in Madrid. Real Madrid is planning not only next season but also has the future of many of its players on the horizon, one of them being Kroos, who, at 34 years old, would be looking for a replacement. Real Madrid's transfer policy is part of a strategy where the long term counts. And it counts a lot. Thus, the incorporations, in recent years, of Federico Valverde, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Militao, Camavinga, Brahim, Tchouaméni, Güler or the imminent arrival of Endrick fit into this philosophy commanded by José Ángel Sánchez, Florentino Pérez's right-hand man. The merengue team is immersed in various operations with which to continue bringing talent, ambition and projection, and here young people appear everywhere. From Yoro, passing through Mastantuono, and ending with Mbappé himself, a more seasoned player, but with an incredible perspective, especially when it comes to sponsorship and advertising, an aspect for which Florentino became very popular in hiring and it was from Los Galacticos, leaving no loose end. Now, one of Real Madrid's priorities would be to cover the midfield in the long term. The foreseeable departure of Luka Modric in a couple of months, together with the maturity that Toni Kroos is also acquiring, makes the club move and alternatives begin to emerge to replace 2 players who, with Casemiro at his side, are part of the history of Madrid. We are, in fact, facing one of the best centers in the Whites field and, without a doubt, the most successful of the last 50 years. Thus, Juni Calafat, one of Florentino's men who act in the shadows, would have suggested two names to replace Kroos: Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala. The first plays for Xabi Alonso's Bayern Leverkusen, with which he is about to win the Bundesliga, while the second plays for Bayern Munich. At 20 and 21 years old, respectively, they are called to be two cornerstones of the German national team. At Real Madrid they fully trust the abilities of Calafat, a talent scout from Madrid but raised in Brazil who has already tied up the hiring of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Fede Valverde in the past and, more recently, was decisive in convincing Arda Güler that his destiny was linked to the Bernabeu. The maxim is the following: maximum respect for Kroos, but without leaving aside the future, since the German, who turned 34 in January, has already said on several occasions his desire to retire early. The Real Madrid offices continue to fume as the merengue team's sports managers are working on improving Carlo Ancelotti's squad for next season. There is a lot of talk about Kylian Mbappé, Lenny Yoro or Alphonso Davies, but the reality is that Florentino Perez and José Ángel Sánchez have to make important decisions that have little to do with signings. One of the most worrying issues in Real Madrid is that of Dani Ceballos, who practically does not count for Carlo Ancelotti, despite renewing his contract last summer. The case of the Utrera midfielder is seen in the Real Madrid offices very similar to that of Marco Asensio, with the exception that the renewal a few months ago guarantees the white club to obtain extra money for his transfer. This is something that could not be achieved with the Balearic attacker, who went through the back door to PSG looking for more minutes and a higher salary, although he has only achieved the latter since he has not managed to take over the title with Luis Enrique. Dani Ceballos has a very good poster in the Premier League, the destination that Florentino Perez and José Ángel Sánchez prefer for him, who, in addition, are aware of the strong interest of Diego Pablo Simeone and Atlético de Madrid to have his services in 2024 to 2025. The Mbappé case is on fire, something that will increase in the coming weeks, especially as the world of football gets closer to the end of the 2024 to 2025 season, which will unleash all the usual rumors of the transfer market. This story, which at times seems endless, still has many episodes to live through, something that truly expectant Real Madrid fans cling to. Rumors, fake news and interested news continue to be the order of the day, especially from Parisian media that work under the orders of Nasser Al-Khelaifi and the Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. This is something that has been demonstrated once again with a latest publication by Kylian Mbappé on social networks, specifically in an Instagram story, where the one born in Bondy has uploaded the PSG shield and has generated, as expected, everything type of reactions. The Parisian story has been interpreted by many in France as an announcement that he is staying, although, clearly, this is not of concern in the offices of the Real Madrid leaders. Florentino Perez and José Ángel Sánchez are very calm about all this, since they trust the word of Kylian Mbappé and his will to reach the Santiago Bernabéu stadium, the stage from which they will dominate the next decade of world football and truly aspire to the ball of gold.